We're here this evening to interview a new member of our club who's taken on a major position. And I'd like to introduce you to Freddie Jones, the third. Welcome to Australia, Fred.
Well, thank you.
And welcome to BMM.
Oh, thank you. Thank you all for having me. So I greatly appreciate it.
When did you arrive in Australia?
My family and I arrived in Australia approximately 17 months ago.
So you're a new chum.
Yes.
Are you enjoying Australia so far?
Technically, this is my fifth time being in Australia. So, yes, I'm thoroughly enjoying life in Australia.
So, spending such a long time in America, what was your occupation in America full time? Were you in movies all the way through, or did you start out as a server at McDonald's?
Well, after high school, I joined the United States Air Force, where I served the U.S. Air Force for 20 years. Towards the end of my 20-year time, I decided that I was going to go to film school because a former troop of mine had recently graduated from film school who told me that I was the inspiration for him going into film school and that I need to go to film school so we can make films together. So with that being said, when I retired on 1 February 2017, I was in my first film class on the 6th of February 2017. So literally had 5 days to get ready and start this new journey in my life.
Right. And did movie making bring you to Australia, or was there another reason?
My wife is from Australia. Um, we decided during the height of the pandemic that we wanted a change of pace of life, not only just for our mental health, but also for our son's mental health, Freddie Jones IV. So it just made that transition that much more easier. She decided that she wanted to go back, and I agreed. And I said, "Hey, the bags will be packed in 2 weeks." 2 years later, here we are.
And what does your wife do in Australia? Is she working girl?
Yes, she does. She processes passports.
Right.
Yes, but none of the families. Let me go ahead and put that on record. None of the families.
I couldn't think of nothing worse to go to work at an airport.
Well, no. She's at a government facility where people submit their passports, and that was one thing that she did tell me that she can't see any of her family members' passports. That's a huge no-no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're in Australia and you're learning. You've learned about film. Your specialty as far as movie making goes?
When I graduated with my BFA, my Bachelor in Fine Arts in Atlanta, Georgia, it was a degree in motion picture and television production.
Right. Mm-hmm. Is there a specialty that you've worked in that side of it?
Originally, I was looking at directing, so I shoot a lot of my own shorts, my own personal shorts that I write and direct, shoot, edit, sometimes even score. Thank goodness for GarageBand. That was a shout out for Apple. But with that being said, now after working on 2 features as a grip, I'm getting into the aspect of grip and also the electrical side. The last feature that I worked on, I actually was promoted from grip to Best Boy Electric on a film called The Lady Makers. And I had a very great mentor on set, several great mentors, to be honest, that put me under their wing, showed me what I needed to do. And now, like lighting is one thing that I am trying to master now.
That's very interesting. You've got a broad spectrum of experience in the whole thing.
Yes.
Your son, how old is he?
Well, funny enough, you should ask that. So my son and I just recently just had birthdays. So he just turned 9 on Sunday. I just turned 45 on Monday of this week.
Yeah, Freddie. So
Yes.
what sort of work do you do now in Australia?
All right. So as of right now, I do traffic control part-time, and on the other side of that, I do freelance videography. I'm actually teaching myself now videography. I've been teaching myself that for this is 2023 for about a year and a half. Slowly but surely, the process of me as a cinematographer has changed drastically from when I started to where I'm at now.
Can I ask you how you met your wife?
Yes, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. So my best friend and I are from New Orleans. Oh, sorry, I failed to mention I am from New Orleans, Louisiana. So my best friend and I in 2006 started doing trips together. So the odd years I would pick, the even years he would pick. So one year I just so happened to be stationed in Afghanistan. We were actually supposed to go to Brazil. Since I couldn't make that since I was stationed in Afghanistan, he said, "Hey, well, how about we go to Australia?" And I was like, "What do we know in Australia?" And that's when I found out my best friend, his best friend is in Australia, married to, funny enough, my sister-in-law. So I met my my future family in 20, man, she's gonna kill me for this one. All right, in 2010. So I met my wife, met my sister-in-law, Brian, sorry, my sister-in-law, Fo, and my brother-in-law, Brian, at LAX. Met them there, met their family. Soon as we landed in Brisbane, within 3 hours of being in country, I met my future wife, future sister-in-law, and my future mother-in-law. Within 3 hours of being in country. And fortunately enough, we were brought together by this little magical storm that happened in, what was that, 2011. We were supposed to go to our first date. Funny enough, our first date before the storm hit, we were actually supposed to go see Wicked at QPAC. She was living in Kalanga at the time. I had already purchased the tickets, and then the storm hit. And we ended up being stuck at my sister in law's house, and we just kind of bonded there. When everything cleared up, I was able to go back to the States. And as soon as I touched down in the States, I think within a day or two, I had an email from my future wife just checking in to see how the flight was and so forth and so on. Yes.
Beautiful. Thanks for that.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
Who's your favorite director and why?
oh, that's a great question. I can't narrow it down to one, but I can do a quick shot of five. Wes Craven because A Nightmare on Elm Street, Spike Lee for everything that he's done, John Carpenter pretty much for everything that he's done. If I had to choose a favorite film by John Carpenter, there's actually three, and funny enough, they're all a part of what he calls the Apocalypse trilogy, and it's the thing, Prince of Darkness, and In the Mouth of Madness. Let me say that's three. So number four would be most of the directors that work for A24. Number five would be any independent filmmaker. And the reason why that my last is so broad is because I have to pay respect to those guys that are doing it now. And that's what I aspire to be. I'm, like I said, I just turned 45 and I see guys that are doing films on YouTube that are in their like teens and their 20s. And I find inspiration in those guys because they're doing it now.